Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Listen up, baseball fans, because while everyone's been obsessing over the St. Louis Cardinals' disappointing offseason and wondering what the heck is happening with Nolan Arenado, something absolutely incredible has been brewing right under our noses. And honestly, it might be the most exciting storyline nobody's talking about. Here's the deal. The Cardinals are a mess right now. We all know it. Fans are furious about the direction of the franchise, the lack of big splashy moves, and watching division rivals actually try to win while St. Louis seemingly sits on their hands. But hidden beneath all that frustration and anger is a catching situation so ridiculously stacked that it's actually kind of absurd. I'm not exaggerating when I say the Cardinals might have the best collection of young catchers in all of baseball, and two of these guys just got recognized on major positive lists heading into 2026. Yeah, you heard that right. While everyone's doom and scrolling through Cardinals Twitter lamenting another lost offseason, the franchise actually has something legitimately exciting to talk about. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into why the Cardinals catching core might actually be the silver lining in this otherwise dark cloud of a rebuild. Let's start from the top. The Major League roster features Ivan Herrera, who at just 25 years old showed last season that his bat absolutely plays at the highest level. This kid can straight up mash. We're talking legitimate middle of the order power here, the kind of pop the Cardinals desperately need. Remember, this is a team that finished 29th in baseball in home runs last year, ahead of only the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's embarrassing. That's little league stuff. But Herrera, he looks like he was born to crush baseballs. Now, there's a catch, and it's not a good one. Everything else about Herrera's game behind the plate is, let's say, a work in progress. His defensive skills need serious refinement. His throwing ability has been questionable at best. He even had elbow surgery this offseason to remove loose bodies that were causing problems. The big question everyone's asking is simple. How long is Ivan Herrera actually going to be a catcher? Because if those throwing issues don't improve dramatically, the Cardinals need to seriously consider moving him to first base or one of the corner outfield spots. He's athletic enough to handle it. We saw him play some left field last year. But here's the kicker. They don't necessarily need him to catch because of the absolutely ridiculous depth they have at the position. Enter Pedro Pagés, the 27-year-old defensive specialist who brings a completely different skill set to the equation. Pagés is your prototypical backup catcher, the guy who handles the pitching staff well, calls a great game, and won't embarrass you behind the plate. His bat isn't going to set the world on fire, but that's not why he's here. And then there's the fan favorite, Joel Poso, the grizzled veteran of this young group at the ancient age of 28. Poso became an absolute legend among Cardinals fans last season with his clutch ability and infectious attitude. That smile, that energy, you can't teach that stuff. He hit 286 as a pinch hitter, crushed a massive home run off the Cubs, and racked up 7 RBIs coming off the bench. The front office liked what they saw enough to sign him to a major league deal, though it's a split contract that pays differently depending on whether he's with the big club or down at AAA Memphis. So you've got 3 catchers right there who could legitimately be on the opening day roster. Carrying 3 catchers isn't the norm in baseball. Most teams stick with 2. But when you consider the versatility here and the possibility of moving Herrera around to other positions, it starts to make sense. Imagine a setup where Herrera is your primary offensive catcher and DH option. Pagés handles the defensive assignments and works with certain pitchers, and Poso serves as your utility guy who can pinch hit, catch when needed, and bring that veteran presence to the clubhouse. Could it work? Absolutely. Should they do it? That's the million-dollar question fans are debating right now. But wait, it gets better, way better. Because we haven't even talked about the minor league depth yet, and this is where things get absolutely insane. Jimmy Krooks is 24 years old and has been in the Cardinals' top 30 prospects for years now. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan guy who had one good season. Krooks was the 2024 Cardinals Minor League Player of the Year. He was the Texas League MVP. He made the postseason All-Star team. He made his major league debut last season and is currently ranked as the organization's number 6 prospect. Everything about his scouting report screams future starting catcher, and here's where things get really interesting. MLB.com recently named Krooks as the Cardinals' top bounce-back candidate for 2026, which honestly seems a little weird when you dig into it. He only had 46 plate appearances at the major league level last year, appearing in just 15 games. His stats were underwhelming, a 133 batting average with 17 strikeouts. But here's the thing, that's an absurdly small sample size. You can't judge a player's entire future on 15 games. It's ridiculous. The Cardinals have plenty of guys who actually need to bounce back after playing most of the season. Nolan Arenado, Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar, Victor Scott, the list goes on. But MLB.com went with Krooks anyway, and their reasoning is actually pretty compelling. According to John Denton's article, the Cardinals coaching staff absolutely loves Krooks' poise combined with his exceptional defensive skills. He showed off a big-time arm in the minor leagues. He impressed everyone with his command of scouting reports and his ability to handle pitchers. And here's the key quote. The strong belief among the coaching staff is that he can be the club's everyday catcher. That's not just some throwaway line. That's the organization saying they believe in this kid to be the guy behind the plate for years to come. His first major league hit was a home run back on August 31st in Cincinnati, showing he's got power potential to go along with the defensive skills. If Krooks can figure out the big league pitching, and remember, most rookies struggle initially, the Cardinals might have found their long-term answer at one of baseball's most important positions. The plan seems to be platooning the catching duties to start the season. Herrera and Pagés hit from the right side, Krooks swings from the left, so you've got balance. You're not overworking anybody by making them catch 158 games like Yadier Molina used to do. Everyone stays fresh, you maximize matchups, and you get to see what you really have in Krooks at the major league level. But believe it or not, we still haven't gotten to the most exciting part of this story. Because beyond the major league roster and beyond Jimmy Krooks, the Cardinals have two catching prospects who are generating serious buzz around the baseball world, and one of them just got named the Cardinals Breakout Prospect of the Year. Leonardo Bernal is 21 years old and just won the 2025 Minor League Gold Glove Award at catcher. Let me repeat that for emphasis. He won the Gold Glove for the entire minor league system, not just one level. When you win that award, you're beating out every single catcher in rookie ball, low A, high A, double A, and triple A. That's insane. Bernal's calling card is his ability to throw out base runners. He gunned down 39.1% of attempted base stealers this past season, which is elite territory. He's currently ranked as the number 4 prospect in the Cardinals organization. The kid is 21 years old and already has Gold Glove caliber defensive skills. That's special. But as exciting as Bernal is, the real story, the guy who has scouts and analysts absolutely salivating, is Raniel Rodriguez, or Raniel Rodriguez, or Radio Rodriguez. Honestly, nobody seems totally sure how to pronounce his name yet, but let's just call him Ronnie Rodriguez for simplicity's sake. This kid is 18 years old. He turns 19 on January 4th, and he's already the Cardinals' number 3 prospect behind only first-round picks Liam Doyle and J.J. Weatherholt. Let that sink in. An 18-year-old international signee out of the Dominican Republic is already ranked ahead of almost every other prospect in a system that's supposed to be loaded with talent. Rodriguez is also ranked as the 55th best prospect in all of baseball, according to MLB Pipeline, and the 6th best catching prospect in the entire sport as a teenager who just started his professional career. This is absolutely bonkers. And the crazy part, he's earned every bit of that hype. Rodriguez absolutely obliterated minor league pitching last season, posting a .683 slugging percentage and a 1.045 OPS. Those numbers are video game territory. He hit 20 home runs total between the Florida Complex League and Low A Palm Beach, including 13 at Palm Beach after getting promoted. To put that in perspective, according to the research dating back to 2006, Rodriguez is one of only 3 18-year-old catchers to post a WRC plus above 140 over 250 or more plate appearances. The only other names on that list are Samuel Basallo and Jesus Montero. That's the entire list. 3 names in almost 20 years. Rodriguez's 20 home runs were tied for 7th most among all minor league catchers this past season. And we're talking about a kid who literally just started his professional career. The scouting reports on him are glowing. He's got that big, strong lower half that you want in your catchers. Yeah, and his swing is absolutely violent. He looks like he was born to crush baseballs. When evaluating prospects, sometimes you just see a guy take batting practice and you immediately think, oh, this guy's different. That's Rodriguez. He passes the eye test with flying colors, and the statistics back up what the eyes are seeing. Now let's talk about why this matters so much for the Cardinals specifically. This organization has a massive power problem. They finished 29th in team home runs last season, and it's not even close. At the Triple-A level, the Memphis Redbirds home run leader was Jimmy Krooks, tied with Matt Carpenter with just 14 home runs. That's it. At Double-A Springfield, Joshua Baez led the team with 16 home runs. At Peoria, 3 guys tied with 8. Do you know how many 20 home run hitters the entire Cardinals organization had last season across the major leagues and all minor league levels? 3. Willson Contreras, Joshua Baez, and Ronnie Rodriguez. That's the complete list. The Cardinals desperately need power, and getting that kind of pop from the catcher position is incredibly valuable. It's a premium defensive position where offense is typically harder to come by, so when you find a catcher who can actually hit for power, you've struck gold. Rodriguez looks like he could be that guy, and having him in the system alongside Bernal, Krooks, Herrera, Pagés, and Poso creates an embarrassment of riches at the position. This depth has led to natural speculation about whether the Cardinals should trade from this catching surplus to address needs at other positions. It's a legitimate question. When you have 6 catchers who could potentially contribute at the major league level within the next couple years, do you really need all of them? Could you flip 1 or 2 for pitching depth, for outfield help, for whatever else this roster desperately needs? The debates are raging in Cardinal circles about who would be expendable. You probably can't trade Pagés. Pitchers love throwing to him, and he's valuable as a veteran presence. Herrera has the most offensive upside, but he might not even stick at catcher. Krooks is young and gives you the best of both worlds, offensively and defensively. And the 2 elite prospects in Bernal and Rodriguez are obviously untouchable, right? The thing is, the Cardinals haven't shown any indication they're looking to move any of these guys. There hasn't been much chatter about dealing from the catching depth recently. Maybe the front office views this as a strength they need to maintain rather than something to be traded away. Maybe they see the value in developing all of these players and letting the best ones rise to the top naturally. Maybe they're planning to get creative with position flexibility, moving guys around to keep everyone's bat in the lineup. Or maybe, just maybe, they're finally going to make a trade that shocks everyone and use this depth to land a significant piece elsewhere on the roster. And what makes this situation even more interesting is the timing. Rodriguez probably won't impact the major league roster for at least 2 or 3 more years. He'll likely start next season back at Low-A Peoria, since that's where he finished 2024, and then he'll work his way up through the system. If you're a Cardinals fan in Peoria, Illinois, you absolutely need to get down to Dozer Park this summer to watch this kid play, because he's not going to be there long. The Cardinals have updated their entire minor league infrastructure with better coaching and instruction specifically for catchers and hitters, so Rodriguez is going to get premium development now. The sky's the limit for this kid. Meanwhile, Bernal will continue advancing through the system with his elite defensive skills, and Krooks is knocking on the door for extended playing time at the major league level right now. The timeline here is actually perfect for the Cardinals if they're patient. Herrera and Pagés can hold down the fort at the major league level for the next couple years, while Krooks continues developing and adjusting to big league pitching. Then, as Herrera potentially transitions to another position or becomes primarily a DH, Krooks can slide into the everyday catcher role. By the time Krooks is established, Bernal and Rodriguez will be ready to push for major league opportunities, creating competition and depth. But here's where Cardinals fans might start getting frustrated again. While St. Louis is sitting on this gold mine of catching talent, the rest of the National League Central has been aggressively improving their rosters. The Cincinnati Reds, after missing out on Kyle Schwarber, pivoted to sign J.J. Bleday to a 1-year, $1.4 million deal and traded for Dane Myers from the Marlins. Sure, those aren't sexy moves, but they're doing something. They're trying. The Pittsburgh Pirates have had a genuinely impressive offseason, adding Ryan O'Hearn, who had an all-star season, trading for Brandon Lowe, Jacob Marcy, and Mason Montgomery from Tampa Bay. Those are real upgrades. The Cubs keep adding relievers like Hunter Harvey and are reportedly in on Alex Bregman alongside the Red Sox, Tigers, Blue Jays, and Diamondbacks. And what have the Cardinals done? They're still trying to trade Nolan Arenado. Still. For the second straight offseason, they're shopping their former MVP third baseman and apparently can't find any takers. There's a growing sentiment among fans that Arenado might actually be back in a Cardinals uniform next year, which would be absolutely wild considering how hard they've tried to move him. The entire baseball world is waiting for the third base market to sort itself out with Bregman and Alex Bregman before anything happens with Arenado. Meanwhile, pitchers the Cardinals were supposedly interested in keep signing elsewhere. Zach Eflin, who we talked about as a potential fit last week, just re-signed with the Baltimore Orioles on a one-year, $10 million deal with a mutual option for 2027. Now, to be fair, most Cardinals fans weren't thrilled about the idea of adding another injury-riddled pitcher to a rotation that's already full of guys with health concerns. Eflin is 31 years old and spent time on the injured list 3 separate times last season with a lat strain and lower back issues that required lumbar microdiscectomy surgery in August. His availability for the start of the season is questionable at best. The Cardinals already added 3 pitchers to compete for rotation spots: Carson May, Connor Fitz, and Barrett Dobbins. But all 3 dealt with injuries last season too. What this team really needs is a reliable, healthy veteran arm, and Jose Quintana keeps coming up as the perfect fit. He's a left-hander. He's been healthy the last couple seasons. He's familiar with the organization. Pitching coach Dusty Blake knows him. Everyone knows him. He won't be overly expensive. It makes too much sense, which probably means it won't happen. The contrast between the Cardinals' quiet offseason and the activity around the rest of the division is stark. Even the Milwaukee Brewers, who typically don't make big splashes, made a trade with Kansas City, sending Isaac Collins and Nick Mears to the Royals for Anhel Serpa, a hard-throwing lefty with a 96.5 mph average fastball velocity and a ground ball rate in the 99th percentile. The Brewers are always making smart, under-the-radar moves that work out, and this looks like another one. So here we are. The Cardinals have this incredible collection of catching talent that should have everyone excited about the future, but it's being overshadowed by legitimate concerns about the present. Can this team actually compete in 2026? What's the plan here? Are they rebuilding or retooling or just treading water? Nobody seems to know, including the front office. But let's bring this back to where we started. Jimmy Krooks and Ronnie Rodriguez earning recognition on positive lists for 2026. Krooks as the bounce-back candidate despite only playing 15 games last year. Rodriguez as the breakout prospect after an absolutely dominant season in the low minors. These are real reasons for optimism in an otherwise bleak Cardinals landscape. Yes, the rotation is questionable. Yes, the lineup has huge holes. Yes, the division rivals are getting better while St. Louis stands pat. All of that is true. But it's also true that the Cardinals might have the best catching situation in baseball when you factor in both present talent and future potential. Ivan Herrera could be a 30-home run bat in the middle of the order if they move him to first base or DH full-time. Pedro Pagés gives you rock-solid defense and game management. Joel Poso brings energy, clutch hitting, and veteran presence. Jimmy Krooks has legitimate everyday catcher potential with both offensive and defensive skills. Leonardo Bernal is a 21-year-old Gold Glove winner defensively. And Ronnie Rodriguez might be the best power-hitting catching prospect in baseball. That's not nothing. That's actually really, really special. In a sport where good catchers are increasingly hard to find, the Cardinals have 6 of them in various stages of development. The question now becomes what they do with this embarrassment of riches. Do they hold on to everyone and let it play out? Do they trade from a position of strength to address weaknesses elsewhere? Do they get creative with position flexibility and keep all these bats in the lineup somehow? Whatever direction they choose, Cardinals fans should at least take some solace in knowing that behind the plate, the future looks incredibly bright. While everyone's focused on the dysfunction and the disappointing offseason and the Arenado saga that won't end, quietly, patiently, the next generation of Cardinals catchers is developing into something special. Jimmy Krooks bouncing back from his brief, struggling major league debut to become an everyday player. Ronnie Rodriguez continuing his ascent through the minor leagues with that jaw-dropping power. Bernal refining his elite defensive skills. Herrera unleashing his offensive potential. Pagés providing stability. Poso bringing the intangibles. This is the foundation. This is something to build around. This is actual, legitimate reasons for optimism amidst all the negativity. And maybe, just maybe, when Cardinals fans look back at this era a few years from now, they'll point to the catching development as the thing that ultimately turned this whole rebuild around. The Cardinals catching core is stacked, folks. Two of them just earned major recognition heading into 2026. And while the rest of the roster might be a mess right now, at least we know that behind the plate, the organization got something absolutely right. So what do you think? Which of these catchers would you trade if you had to move one? Who should be on the opening day roster? Should the Cardinals carry 3 catchers to start the season? Are you as excited about Ronnie Rodriguez as the scouts seem to be? And can Jimmy Krooks actually become that everyday catcher the coaching staff believes in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're excited about this catching depth. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're going to keep bringing you all the latest Cardinals news, analysis, and hot takes all season long. And ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. The catching situation might be the most exciting thing happening with this franchise right now, and we're going to be tracking every development as these young stars continue their journey to St. Louis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.